All right, we got a minute 54 to go, everyone. Cats have made this a game. Houdini had a monologue ready to go. I had a monologue ready to go, and we may just have reaction to a win, hopefully. They foul Bandaogo there? They're doing the right thing. They're just hacking our bigs. They did it with Mitchell a second ago, and it looked like they fouled Aziz on purpose. Send him to the free throw line. They can't make him.
I agree. Dillon Mitchell shooting 8% from the free throw line. It's a good strategy.
Ooh.
Drills it.
Pause your thing for like half a second because I just got Aziz. Got it. 64-62, a minute 51 to go. Wes, drinking some water. Tell you what, win or lose, you got to be pretty excited with the effort down the stretch. I think a star was born, Dillon Mitchell. That's a talking point, but let's just win it because we're going to be both pissed. Misses the second. Caleb Love gets the rebound. He will facilitate the Wildcats offense with
help.
A minute 40 in the game. No help defense all the way to the bucket. Skillings blocks it. All right. 15 on the timer. Yeah, pause it for another 2 seconds. Let's see if that was a foul. You got to
call your Spectrum guy, dude.
Yeah, I know. It's Xfinity.
Oh, jeez. You're lucky you're even getting the feed today.
Uh-oh. Good look, Caleb Love. Short rimmed it. Rebound, Day, and here comes Dillon Mitchell. Mitchell's got 4 fouls, by the way. That's huge if this goes into overtime because without Mitchell, this isn't even close.
Why not foul Dillon Mitchell right now? If he touches the basketball, foul him. If you're Arizona.
You probably take him out.
He has to.
He's such a liability. Now's a good time to just send in CJ Frederick, even if it's as a decoy. I don't understand the lack of usage from him. I mean, maybe he's just hurt.
No, I don't know. I'd rather have Betsy, go 0 for 9 from 3 as a freaking freshman. I mean, what
instead of the guy that started for Coach Cal?
Yeah. No, at some point, Frederick's got to be used. I mean, granted, we came back, but holy hell.
We didn't come back because we made shots. Yeah, we didn't come back because we made shots. Let's put it that way. We'll talk about why they came back. Can they finish it off is the question. Sup, Nate? It's good, everyone watching. Welcome in. Fifth Third Arena booing our own team today. It's like the old days, Houdini. Kirkland, you suck! That was one of the first words I heard in life. At least at a sports game. Poor Armin. He was good. All right. Side out for Cincinnati. Jizzle James, the trigger man, gets it in Lukosius, and Lukosius will operate. Skillings, right wing. Gets it just inside the three-point line. Double comes, flips it over to Bandaogo. They're looking for the lob. They don't have it. Top of the key, James slices in. Left corner, Day. Oh, missed a 3. Dan down low, lays it up and in. It's all tied up. It was a 19-point game at Fifth Third Arena. It's all tied up. And look at the hustle from Day. The effort
is there, just like it always is. Yeah. Excuse my language.
I was so ready to be out on Wes. And it wasn't immediately after half. I mean, the first 10 minutes were equally as awful. There were no adjustments. I was begging, dial up the pressure. And I don't know if it was just, it wasn't after a timeout. It wasn't any specific, run. It was just.
He dialed up the pressure with like 15 minutes left when we were down like 18 or whatever. With about 15 minutes, he waited 5 minutes in the second half to decide to switch something up.
Well, I saw it was originally, I think Page started it off, or it may have been Mitchell, Page, Mitchell. But it was just them overplaying and getting their hands on a few and then getting out in transition. But it wasn't until like there were like 8 minutes left where he literally went to a full court press at points. Arizona hasn't been able to score, man. This would have to be frustrating as a Bear Down fan right now.
Oh,
screw them.
Sue them and screw them.
That's what we say, man.
I mean, that's clearly like, what are they reviewing? It's clearly off Day Thomas. What are they checking the clock?
Oh, God.
What the hell happened? How is this a tie ball game? I truly don't understand. I don't even know what I just watched.
No, I mean, we were ready to, and it wasn't just us. It's the entire fan base was ready to send their coach packing back to North Carolina with how they played 30 minutes into this game. And they're literally tied up with Arizona. One stop, and we're going to have a chance to react to our first ever buzzer-beating game winner. Because Lukosius against San Francisco, we didn't do the live show last year. We said we don't do live shows for NIT games.
The NIT.
You were out at Bogart's. Well, I was manning up the post-game show myself.
We don't do live shows for NIT. And I promise you this year, if somehow all hell breaks loose, we go to the NIT, we're not doing a single show. We'd have to disband the entire program. Anyway.
Caleb all right, here we go. Basketball. 50 seconds to go. Caleb Love, Day Thomas guarding. Thomas has been great on him. Not that time. Screen. Love goes all the way down the lane. The Red Sea parts, and he finger rolls it up and in. 66-64, 40 seconds to go. Timeout, Wes Miller. Let's see what he dials up here. You think we're going with the pick and roll?
Yeah. Hey, he might dial up one of those baseline screen actions with Aziz showing as a lob and getting Seamoss a little three from the elbow. He loves that play. Seamoss hasn't done shit all game, but he loves that play. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw it.
That was way too easy from Caleb Love. I mean, how do you play the half-court defense that you've played for the last 10 minutes of game time and just let him – I mean, what got him there? Is it just just took a ball screen and went right to the bucket?
No, it's atrocious defense with 50 seconds left. Caleb Love gets basically an uncontested layup.
All right, so Arizona led for 31-56 of this game. Largest margin, 19. 31-56 they led of this game. In the other 7 minutes, it was tied, you know?
Arizona dominated this game. I mean, through and through.
Dominated. The box score, it's not going to say otherwise. It's probably going to say they dominated. Hopefully the final score says otherwise. But win or lose, there's going to be no bias towards this, Houdini. We're going to spit facts. And the fact of the matter is you respect the effort down the stretch. If they can close it out, I'll love that effort. And that's a positive win or lose. But good God, this offense, man. Jump shots are not easy.
It'd be nice to hit a jump shot right here.
I'm going to go ahead and get the comments off the screen in case we are a little behind at this point, because we probably are. I don't want to ruin the viewing experience for myself. All right, 66-64, Lukosius trigger man side out, gets it into Jizzle James. It's James, it's Skillings, it's Bandaogo, it's Lukosius, and it's Day Thomas. No Dillon Mitchell on the floor, so they can't play hack a Dillon. You're way too far in front of me. They go with a Dan Skillings three, missed it by a mile. It's off Day Thomas's leg. Could they review it? Maybe. It was close, but I don't know how that's what you dial up with 25 on the clock, 30 on the clock.
What on earth was that, Chuck? What? Why? I don't. There's no way that West dialed that up.
You're ruining my vibes, man. You're ruining my vibes. You were 5 seconds ahead of me.
Well, you were ahead of me for a second.
That's not what I expected. I expected a turnover. That was like a clean look.
First off, he wasn't that open. There's no way that West dialed up a Dan Skillings three. What is he shooting? 28% from three? That's what we go with? There's no way.
We don't really have a good offensive option, brother. You can't play inside out.
I'm not dialing up. We're down 2 points. You don't need a Dan Skillings three. I mean, if Wes Miller dialed up, I don't care if Dan Skillings has a guy 12 feet from him. I do not want him shooting a 3 to win the game in the most pivotal possession of the game. That's absurd.
He's riding the hot hand, man. That's what you do sometimes in basketball.
Yeah,
no, but that brings up the other alarming thing is how many jump shots this team has shot when they can't make a single one. They pressure and they call a foul.
I'll pause again. I'm still ahead of you.
My wife just texted me. I'm on FS1 right now. She's calling the Butler Marquette women's basketball game at the Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee. And her tip's going to have to wait a minute. Husband of the year right here. But we got business to finish in Cincinnati.
Today's 3 of 5, this kid.
All right, it's Jaden Bradley, 79% from the line. He cooked Connor Hickman in the first half on a possession or two. Looked good in the first half. Haven't really noticed him too much as of late, but haven't noticed really anyone from Arizona. He hits the first free throw. This is the difference between a team like Arizona and a team like Cincinnati. What would Cincy do in this position? They'd miss their free throws. What does Arizona do? They step up, cool, calm, and bury it. Bradley's second one, we know the result. It went in. Of course it did. They're not fourth graders. They can knock down free throws. Houdini can hit free throws at the Charles Ping Center. I can knock down free throws. 70%, it's all we ask, fellas, and they can't give it to us. Gone to the days of Steve Logan. All right, so here's Day Thomas. Cats are down 4. They definitely need something. Skillings patrolling in the lane, flips it up. Terrible shot, missed it. And now, since he's going to foul, it's Dillon Mitchell. And you should give Mitchell a standing O and boo the rest of them off the floor. Mitchell's gone, 5 fouls. Cincinnati is 0-2. We're not going to get ahead of our skis, negativity-wise. We're going to talk objectively. But here's the deal. Dayton lost by 20 today to George Washington. If that's your best win, that's your best win. This team will not be dancing.
No way. Now this whole review thing is just so ridiculous.
Wes is pissed. Look at Wes. Oh my God, he's pissed.
Yeah, I bet he is.
He can't win a damn home game. They had a losing record last year in the Big 12 at home. This used to be a feared place to play.
Oh, yeah, that's off Dan, too. Come on, Dan. How the hell is he that? Clean it up and figure it out. I'm begging you.
I'm embarrassed to be wearing this gear right now. We're literally the doormat of the Big 12 in both programs. The doormat. We are. I mean, I'm trying to think of someone that's worse cumulatively.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's
Oklahoma State. I mean, I guess Oklahoma State beat us last year.
Was terrible. Oklahoma
they beat us in football and basketball. I mean, at a certain point.
Ollie Gordon forgot how to play football. Oklahoma State sucks.
I mean, what the hell have we done? I'll tell you what, Houdini. I'm gonna save this story for the show, actually, because I don't want to chop this thing up, and it's a good story.
I mean, it sucks because if Dan Skillings doesn't knock this ball out of bounds, we're down 4 or 13 seconds. It's not over at all, but I'm pretty positive he just knocked that ball out of bounds.
I'm pretty positive it's over, Houdini.
I'm just saying, if we had the basketball right now with 14,
statistically, it's not.
14 seconds
but a team that can't hit a shot in the half court, you think we're going to get a couple?
It's Arizona's ball. I mean, that's unacceptable, dude. You
I
can't.
thought Dillon Mitchell had 4 fouls.
That's what the guy said on TV.
He did. He's only got 3 apparently because he's still in the game.
Oh. You know what's hilarious? I'm going to lose my live bet at 9.5 too. Somehow it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
It's 4 with 12 seconds to go. That would be pretty difficult. Honestly, it may be impossible.
Oh, no, I've done it before, brother, and I'm ready to do it again. And honestly, I want to lose that too. I don't
I
deserve
think
it.
I remember the game where it happened to you. Was it in a Memphis game or something? It was like really close late. We ended up losing by like 7 in the final. I think it was Wes's first year. Wichita, Memphis, one of those games.
I'm sure it was. I got too many to count.
And they hit the free throw. That's what they do.
Well,
How about Lily bringing out the defensive free throw? You hear that in the last show? Basically said that Cincinnati is the in terms of other teams hitting free throws, we're 330th in the country. Basically, no one hits more free throws or hits a higher percentage against us. I know it's a bullshit stat, but
all right, that's
good God.
Just shoot it, Jizzle. Just launch it. Oh my God.
Day hits a 3, but it's way too late. We waste about 7 seconds for no reason.
Shot.
Jizzle is not Ja Morant.
Hey, Chuck, all you need is a steal and a 3. Very simple.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Should we just run the intro video to potentially mush us? I'm good at that. I mean, that may be our only hope at the end of the day is me saying Cincinnati loses by running the intro video.
No, run the intro. I mean, this game's over. This game's over. It is what it is. We are who we thought we're not who we thought we were.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And we got Matthew Myers, the king of positivity, fresh back from his trip to Pasadena where he had rose stems in his mouth. And today he's got a bag of shit in his mouth because that's what we all have after Cincinnati delivers just I don't want to say a dud because they gave us some hope down the stretch, but that kind of makes it more of a dud. I would have rather just been run off the floor by 17.
No. Too much basketball to be played this season. If we lost this game by 25, which it was damn near about to be, all bets are off. Like, no moral victories. You had to win this game. It's at home. But to at least claw back and give me some hope, I'll take it.
Better option than the alternative. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
We got this will be a debate on the show. I'm writing this one down. He is not NBA material. I already know that that's about Dan Skillings, who announced at that baseball game last year that he will be leaving after the season to head to the NBA. Dan Skillings, NBA material. You watching the game with Debo? Who you looking over at?
Yeah, Debo. He's right. You can't see him.
I could see his ears.
Calm. He gets cut. He thinks I'm yelling at him when I'm yelling at Dillon Mitchell missing 8 free throws.
That's it.
There it is. Yeah, run the intro, Chuck. I'm sick of this shit.
All right, 1 second left, but we'll run the intro. Cincinnati loses. On the other side, if they somehow win this game or send it into overtime, we'll obviously let you know. But in my opinion, this game's over, so we're going to do the most irrational thing ever. And before the game's over, we're just going to – it's over. Chatterbox Bearcats starts now.
Yo, there's something beautiful about Bearcats basketball. High flying.
Kenyon with a jam.
Shot denying.
Miles rejected.
There's just an energy that comes with the Cats. A rich history built on toughness.
And Mick Cronin looks like he wants a technical.
A bring-your-own-lunch pail mentality. For a long time, UC was the hunted.
I felt that we couldn't lose.
I think it's time the Bearcats do a little hunting of their own.
Once y'all done with them, send them to me, man. You know what I mean? We can put them on the court. Keep that Bearcat thing going.
I am fired up.
Takes it all the way. Oh! It's going to be Little.
I wonder how Steve Logan would be over in Afghanistan or somewhere. I bet he'd be pretty poised. He just does not get rattled.
Man, Exo, he'll cut it loose. Watch out. Stevenson cuts it back. Oh! Kilpatrick outruns everybody. Johnson, the exclamation point.
We've been dealt the king of heartbreak over and over again.
Rose here. Smith and...
Everything they worked for was undone on one play.
But I see the light. The Cats are back.
Lukosius, open three, got it! Oh, baby!
Welcome to the only live Bearcats postgame show on YouTube. This is Chatterbox Bearcats.
Welcome to Chatterbox Bearcats, everyone. Cincinnati falls to 0-2 in the Big 12, 72-67. It's bear down over the Bearcats. The Arizona Wildcats coming to Cincinnati and do what a lot of Big 12 teams have done to Wes Miller in his first year and a couple games in the Big 12, and that is beat the Bearcats at home. And the clown wig is going on me today. Now, of course, on the other side of Cincinnati, they don't have it much better, does the other clown. But I'm the clown right now, Houdini, because I will never overreact to shit burgers in the out of conference ever again. I will never overreact to transfers committing before the season starts and stars next to people's names, because this is just a good old fashioned case of Arizona wanted this game much more than Cincinnati for 30 minutes of it. Now, UC woke up late. This was a 19-point game. At a point in the second half, it was consistently 13 to 17 to 15. UC was never really in it until they made a huge push to make it a ball game down the stretch, actually tied it at 64 late in the game. But in the end, they dial up a Dan Skillings 3 with 25 seconds to go, down 2, missed it. Before that, to go down 2, it was Caleb Love just waltzing right to the bucket. He potentially looked back and gave a deuces sign on the way there. It was so easy. 0 rim protection. And then with about 9 seconds left and still a pulse if you can hit a shot, Jizzle James dribbles for about 6 seconds of it. That is agitating. This team is agitating. This program, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, the university right now is agitating to root for because they do not win home games. 4-5 last year in the Big 12 in basketball and home. The football team won 2 home games in the last 2 years, and it feels like more of the same, man. Where the hell do we start?
0-2, starting Big 12 play. We were talking about winning the Big 12. We lost to Kansas State, who was about 130 in the net, and just lost to a 7-5 Arizona team who absolutely dog-walked us in our own arena. And Wes Miller, I said this on Twitter. He needs to figure out, am I a good basketball coach or am I a good recruiter? Because to come out at home, especially coming off a loss and with absolutely no energy, stagnant on offense. I mean, the list goes on and on. Our best players being no-shows. Seamus Lukosius, where the hell were you today? It is very alarming. It's very concerning. It's one thing to lose games on the road. I get that. It's tough to win. When you come into Fifth Third Arena and throw up a dud and you put yourself in a 19-point hole against a very talented Arizona team at the minimum, good luck trying to win a game. Like, it is unacceptable. And regardless of Wes Miller and his scheme, we could talk about that all day. Somebody needs to hit a damn shot. We shot 20% from 3, and Tyler Betsy is playing. Listen, we kind of liked what we saw. He's got no business playing in this game. If he misses his first 3 threes, take him out. He's 1 of 7, 0-5. I don't know what the minutes are. Played way too long. But I'm glad that we clawed back and showed some fight. But it's an alarming start to Big 12 play. Still a lot of basketball to go, but I am hovering around the panic button right now.
Hey, a game where you can't hit a shot, this is the perfect time to throw CJ Frederick in there. And look, he's not the player that he was at Iowa. We all know that injuries have clearly derailed a once very promising career and a career that was really good, but it appears to be over if he can't get minutes over Tyler Betsy in this one, who goes 0 of 5 from the floor. I mean, just a couple of years ago that Coach Cal had him in their starting lineup. And right now he can't even see the floor in this game. Leader of the pack on the box score was Dan Skillings with 18, but it was Dillon Mitchell who really led the turnaround, 13 and 7. We'll get into that in just a minute, but I want to continue more on the offense, man. Going back to a conversation I heard on Mo Egger's podcast, had Chad Brendel on. And Mo asked him about 2 minutes into their hit. And he said, will this offense be good? Didn't sugarcoat it. Didn't throw in statistics or anything, although I can throw them in there right now. And it's this team consistently shoots 30% from the floor, 50% from the free throw line today, 12 of 23, and 5 of 25 from 3. Hey, if you can't throw water into a boat and you're not a good three-point shooting team, stop shooting threes. Nope, 5 of 25. Anyways, Mo asked Chad, will this offense be good? And I was just waiting for Chad to say it. I was like, come on, Chad, please just give us the true answer here. Give it to us. And he said, quote, yeah, I think there's some things they need to figure out offensively. It's beyond figuring out things offensively. I'll say it right now. My New Year's resolution, I will never react to the shitburgers in the out of conference ever again, because every year I say this team has promise shooting. I said it last year. I think I said it the Mason Madsen year. I was like, oh, they got Hayden Koval down low who can stretch the floor. I think this team can shoot. I've said that for years because in the out of conference, they play these shitburgers. They knock down shots, and then we get to conference play, and the better the competition gets, the more we see the Mick Cronin basketball. That's what it was today. It was zero movement. It was just passing it around the perimeter. It was looking for the lob, not being able to find the lob. Lukosius can't blow by anyone. It's ugly right now. Nobody's scared of this team. By the way, your best win in the out of conference, Dayton, they lost to 20 by George Washington. They lost by 20 at George Washington today to the Fighting Colonels. They lost by 20. So take that for what it's worth, Houdini. It's not well right now in Bearcats land. It's not well. We just won a home win. We're not asking for much.
No, we're not. And this goes, I mean, even last year, even Vegas. And I said this is where the game started. Every time we're favored at home, you might as well fade the hell out of the UC Bearcats because they do not. We don't protect home court advantage is gone. Like, I don't know what it is with Wes Miller and this roster. We play better on the road. And that was last year, too, in Big 12 play. Granted, we just lost to Kansas State, who I think by all accounts stinks. But he's got to make some type of an adjustment because you're right. The offense is stagnant. They pass the ball around the perimeter. And for large stretches of this game, I love Day Thomas. He was our primary playmaker. That's not a recipe for winning many games of the Big 12, man. He's like my size, okay? It's not going to work. He was 4 of 12. He had 9 points. He was great. He was fine, right? For him to be your primary playmaker, like it's got to be Jizzle and Seamoss. And those guys have just been flat out bad, like straight up bad. Jizzle's not making that mid-range jumper anymore.
He's regressed.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on, dude. Like I really don't. The two guys that showed up, Dillon Mitchell and Dan Skillings, Aziz played all right. He didn't do much on offense, but had 9 boards, played a decent defensive game. But if we're not going to get anything from Seamoss and Jizzle James, we are in a rude awakening for the rest of this Big 12 slate. Like, I don't really know what Wes is going to do if those guys can't produce on the offensive end. He's got to scheme better. He's got to get better offensive sets because the pick and roll up top and doing the 3-man weave, it ain't working. We've seen it. You got to adjust.
They need to get more pressure is what they do. Get out the other way and finish in transition. That's what they did with some dunks in the second half, but it was just too little too late. They sat too soft in their defensive coverage in their in the first half in that half court. And their half court defense is pretty good for the most part. But there was a stretch there where Arizona was kind of torching them and you couldn't get anything in the half court on offense. That's where it's like speed up the game, just try something a little bit different. And it was just kind of more of the same for what we saw against Kansas State. Story time for you. I was down in Old Town in Chicago last year during college. I want to say it was college basketball season late in the year. And there were a crop of Minnesota Golden Gophers fans there watching their game. There are like 7 of them. And they had the Hufflepuff scarves on, and they were cheersing each other, all excited. And I tapped on one of my buddy's shoulders, who's actually a Providence Friars fan, good guy. And I tapped on his shoulder, and I'm like, look at those idiots. They're fans of the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Like, what an irrelevant school to be a fan of. And he said something that humbled me very quick. He said, Chuck, look at you. You're in a Steve Logan jersey. The guy hasn't played 20 years, and your team is absolute ass in both basketball and football. And he's right. This program is the worst in the Big 12 right now. It's debatable. And that's not a good thing that you're debatably the worst program in the Big 12 right now. It's an F- in terms of winning games. An F-. UCF's found a way to, I don't want to say UCF's been better because they haven't at the end of the day. Cincinnati beat them in football. We swept them in basketball last year. It's just UCF's the doormat. Let's say that on the record. UCF sucks. But I mean, aside from that, man, we're not better than any of the legacy Big 12 schools. I mean, we're arm wrestling right now with Oklahoma State, and that's a dangerous place to be.
I mean, I guess my question is why am I drinking so many of these? For what? To get to shoot 20% from three, 39% from the field. We can barely break 50% from the line. And Sean Connor mentioned it in the chat. It's a one possession game. And you shoot 50% from the line. It's incredible. Like, that's the game. When you're going up, and it's Fran Fraschilla said it multiple times, it's a turnover. If you
12
miss
to
2
23,
throws,
you just go 15 to 23, man. You just go 15 to 23. You still don't win, but
no, it changes everything though. Like, obviously the game that we don't start fouling at the end of the game if we're actually, at that point we'd be in the lead. It's I don't know what it is. Dillon Mitchell, unfortunately, as electric as a player he is and how awesome he has been, he's like been one of the few bright spots when we're playing legit competition. But having him not be able to hit free throws, it's tough because you can't play him at the end of games. Like, you really can't. Like, if you don't hack Dillon Mitchell, do the hack-a-shack with him at the end of a game, then you don't know how to coach basketball. It's a very, if you want to look at the analytics, one of the smartest plays ever. It's basically a turnover.
Yeah, Mitchell 0 of 5 from the charity stripe today. Did have 13 and 7. There was a moment there in the second half where he was the clear alpha on the floor. Was everywhere defensively. Got high praise from Fran Fraschilla, who said he's a top 3 defender in the entire country. So that's your anchor defensively. I just wish offensively he was a little more unselfish. And to go along with unselfish, I just wish he was a little more polished. And obviously he is what he is. But there are times where he seemingly can get into the lane with ease, and he just has no offensive bag to put the ball in the bucket, really. And that hurts. But 6 of 8, another efficient night. Hit another 3-pointer. 1 of 3 in the game, has added that to the mix. And the 7 rebounds, a couple of steals, some huge breakaway dunks. Actually saw he's 4th in the nation in most dunks. Aziz Bandaogo is 2nd, behind only Ryan Cockbrenner in the entire country in dunks. And then I saw some decent minutes out of Arrington Page today, who had 4 points, 3 rebounds in the game. Bandaogo had 5 of 9, 9 for Lukosius on 2 of 6. You got to shoot more than 6 times, CMOS. We were talking about him potentially being all Big 12 with the start that he had, 69% from 3. But again, the shitburgers, they fool us consistently. Although with that one, it's a little more head-scratching because he was great in Big 12 play last year. It's not like a Tyler Betsy type start where it's like, oh, Betsy may be able to play at this level this early. And then you find out that it was just against, Pine Bluff. Whereas Lukosius he just doesn't look good, man. I don't know what it is. He can't really blow by anyone. And then even Dan Skillings, 6 of 14 in the game today, was awesome whenever he got to the baseline. He had 18 to lead the way. He just looks like he's lost a step in terms of his overall quickness. But still, another efficient day for Dan with 18 and 6. And then Connor Hickman, 0 points. You used a scholarship on him and expected him to be somewhat of a microwave off the bench. He's been anything but. He missed a dunk. He missed a floater. He got burnt. He's irrelevant at the end of the day. I hate to say it.
No, I mean, our bench is an issue. We were talking about how much depth this team had. If Connor Hickman, all signs are pointing towards he's going to be a 0. And I've said this multiple times, that's a big problem. Like,
we were crying, dude. You and I were crying in 212 in the upper deck when they were playing Ohio State. They went with the hockey sub, 5 deep, and the second unit was throwing lobs, and we looked at each other. I gave you a hug, and I said, I love you. I love you, man. This is great. And I mean, this is dog shit. This is terrible. What are we doing?
It would have been one thing to lose a shootout, you know what I mean? Like this was just it was painful to watch. It was Mick Cronin-esque minus. I don't know the last time Mick Cronin was down 20 points at home to anybody, like straight up to anybody. And I know at the end of the day, our half-court defense statistically is fine. We were letting them blow by us and get to the rim. Every shot we took was tough, contested. We really had no business being in the game. I'm glad they clawed back into it, but Wes Miller's got to take a long look in the mirror, man. And things need to change, and they need to change quick because you see Twitter is on his ass. And I'm part of the brigade too, because he needs to start winning some basketball games, and the schedule doesn't get easier. Like, let's be real. We could be looking at 4 straight losses, and then it's like all of a sudden morale in the team starts to drop. The sky is falling. People aren't showing up to the arena. This could get ugly quick. He still has opportunity to change that, and I hope he does. I've been the biggest Wes apologist, I think, probably in the country until I saw Kansas State and Coleman Hawkins, that jackass, put us in a blender. And now I'm worried. I'm actually worried. I'm hovering around that panic button, not quite hitting it yet. 2 games into the season in Big 12 play, but he's got to make a change. He's got to do it fast.
Well, you see how quickly good coaches can make changes at programs. You look at what Pitino is doing at St. John's, and people want to talk like Wes Miller is the heir apparent to Hubert Davis when he gets fired at North Carolina. Like, look at what Pitino has done at St. John's. Look at what Wes Miller has done at Cincinnati. The answer is nothing. Hasn't taken him to a single NCAA tournament. It's year 4, everyone. I would love to see Bunker Boy's bracketology come out next week. And here's the thing. Since he still has no, like, terrible losses, right? Villanova on the road keeps looking better. They're good. But at the same time, we have no good wins. And this team can't win at home. They can't win Big 12 games at home, apparently. And Arizona, I mean, on paper, very good. I think they're going to be a good team when the season's all said and done. 4 or 5 seed range, good. So it's not the end of the world when you look at it from that sense. But the schedule doesn't get any easier. And you are staring 0-4 straight in the face. That game coming up against Baylor is huge, and it's the eye test. It's like Bird Box out there. I mean, it stings. It stings the nostrils. It stinks. It smells like Coach Broadbeck cut some ass up in 218 in the arena. I mean, it's silent. It just, everyone's plugging their noses, closing their eyes. The team had 4 assists in the first half. I was covering the Warriors game 2 nights ago. They had 42 assists in the game. The ball was humming. It was poetry in motion. It was beautiful. The split offense was amazing, you know? And then you watch the Wes Miller run offense today with 4 assists in the first half, 2 of them on lobs. That just means it's ISO basketball. It's shooting bad shots, man. And unfortunately, I don't really know how to get better looks without changing personnel, which you can't really do at this point in the season, because if CJ Frederick is apparently unplayable, you don't have any more shooting to put in there. I mean, Josh Reed's moonball.
Yeah, Josh Reed's moonball is going to save this team. No, what I think they need to do is he needs to make an adjustment first off to the starting lineup and sacrifice some defense and go small. We can't continue to watch this team. They clog the paint. It feels like they're playing on a middle school court when they're on offense. There's no space. Zero. But the
starting lineup was the lineup that gave us good runs in this game. No, like, we started off fine and we finished all right.
That is fine. I've seen it too many times. The paint is clogged because you got 2 guys. You essentially have 3 guys that can't shoot the basketball, and that's Dillon Mitchell, that is Aziz Bandaogo, and that's Dan Skillings.
And Jizzle James, statistically right now, can't shoot.
You can't throw water into a well, man. Like, they got to – I don't really care what they do and who they play per se. You got to have 3 shooters on the floor at all times. And Connor Hickman not being good, that makes that a little more difficult. Tyler Betsy not being able to hit 3 makes it very more difficult. They got to do something and switch up the way the offense is being run. Obviously, like I said, Wes needs to develop some type of emotion offense. It doesn't consist of Jizzle James dribbling the ball for 20 seconds and Dan Skillings launching. He hit 7 3 attempts today. I never want to see a game where Dan Skillings shoots 7 threes. I really don't. He's not a great three-point shooter. If he's wide open, sure, I'll let him take it. But they got to make some adjustment, even to the starting lineup. Like, something needs to change. What it is, I don't get paid $2.5 million a year to figure that out. I hope Wes makes some type of a change because I think we've seen enough that there's an adjustment that needs to be made.
You mentioned the Barbarians are starting to rush the gate, man. Once a fan base turns on you, it's not good. And there's still, look, I'm sure Niehaus is stomping his foot right now. I'm sure he was booing Wes on the way out there. I mean, that man wears his heart on his sleeves at Bearcats games. Like, go give him a handshake if you see him at the games and be like, Nick, I respect everything you bring to the table. As a Bobcat alum, I respect everything you bring to a school you didn't even go to. But that man is fired up about his Cats. And I mean, to the Barbarians right now that are at the gate, Lily's probably not going to be one of them. He's told us many times he views sports a little bit differently than us. And that's probably the wise way to do it, right? You don't turn on a coach on January 4th when you still have the number 16 next to your name. You just don't do it. But I'm a firm believer that this is a really good basketball program. The statistics back it up. It's year 4. If this team misses out on the NCAA tournament, I would sacrifice Sean Abayev and I would say, I'm ready. I mean, I don't have a backup plan. That's the thing. I don't know who better the Cats would bring in there. But just the way that it's gone as of 3 years in, it feels like this is kind of a boiling point. And we hit that with Mick, man. After the fight, it was year 4. He had just lost to Xavier again. Or I guess it was year 5. I mean, he made the NCAA tournament the year before. That's the crazy thing, is Mick made the tournament. And then the next year they turned around and they lost to Presbyterian. And it was just kind of ugly. They lose to Xavier. The fight happens. I'm like, I don't know how this guy's going to survive. He turned it around and has been a great, great basketball coach. And I'm hoping Wes Miller does the same thing. But at a certain point, Wes Miller ain't an alum, you know? Cronin was an alum. Cronin inherited a program during a completely different time where you had to get JUCOs and rebuild a different way. Look at West Virginia. They were in shambles last year. They're back to being better than us one season later. I talked about Pitino and what he did at St. John's. Good coaches don't need 7 years. They don't need 1 million 5-stars. At a certain point, they win basketball games at home. I'm just saying, to all the apologists out there, I'm just saying.
So with Wes Miller, he's going to be the coach next year, whether we like it or not. And I think it would be a crazy move unless we had some home run hire that we could bring in. It's a little different with Mick Cronin. He's got LaQuill Hardnett coming in as his major recruit when he left. We got Sean Abayev,
Curtis,
and Tillery coming in. To reset right now would be, quite frankly, awful. Like, if we had to do this whole song and dance again and kind of be the bottom dweller of the Big 12 in basketball.
You don't know that, though. You could turn it over in a year. Teams do. I mean, here's the thing. We talk about we talk about the how nice it is having the cohesion and having everyone returning and this and that. Sure, it's nice. But if they can't win, who cares?
Right. No, you're 100% right. I'm just saying to do that right now it's not. First off, it's not going to happen.
No,
we
it's
know
not,
that
it's January, first of all, and it is not going to happen. Like, I think they can miss out on the tournament, and they're going to give him year 5, which to me is whatever.
His seat will be on. If we don't make the tournament, then I think the proof is in the pudding that Wes Miller can't coach basketball. Like, I'd rather have myself out there running sets for this team than Wes Miller. If this team can't make the tournament with the guys we returned, with the transfers we got,
with the third team player from the MVC, you know, like Connor Hickman was third team all MVC. Dillon Mitchell's like an NBA prospect. You return everyone from a team last year that was starting to figure it out late. I do think they're going to figure it out. That's the nice thing. But right now I'm in my feels. I'm emotional and the emotion's getting the best of me. And it's saying that I've seen this song and dance for too damn long, man.
I agree. Like, Wes Miller should be feeling some serious heat. There's no doubt about it. You can't start 0-2 in Big 12 play with the hype that was around this program, with the talent that at least we thought we had on the floor. Like I said, I refuse to believe that this offense with the roster cannot be at a minimum a solid offense. We are a horrific offense. So it comes down to scheme in West. And certainly at the end of the day, guys got to make shots. I mean, we got guys missing shots all over the floor. I still don't understand Tyler Betsy playing as much as he did. I mean, he had the fourth most attempts on the team, and he hasn't made a three since November. Like, I like what I've seen from Betsy as a freshman. Sure, he could develop. He's not ready. He's missing wide open threes beyond belief. So I think West needs to realize that. He put him in with 3 minutes left in the game. Like, I don't understand it. At the end of the day, there's a lot of basketball to be played. We have a ton of quad one opportunities in front of us, but we got to start turning on the gas soon. Otherwise, I mean, this could be a disaster.
So as a producer, I'm given the keys to pretty much do whatever I want, the keys to the kingdom of the show. And what I've just done is in the chat, for those of you that are watching live, I have dropped the StreamYard link. And if you click on that and copy and paste it to your browser, you can actually hop on the show. We will take questions from the faithful, a little mailbag. It's like a call-in show at this point. If anyone wants to hop in there, if not, we're going to end it here in a couple minutes or so. But, man, crowd got involved in the second half, but there was like a 10-minute period there. Houdini. Oh, look at Debo. Look at Debo. There was like a 10-minute period there where the only noise you heard from the Bearcat faithful was legit boos. Groans, boos. Ugly, man. It's the last thing we wanted to see with all the hype we had this offseason. And again, it just goes back to my New Year's resolution. Next year, chat. When I get ahead of my skis and I say, Shadabayev, I say, do you see those 32 he put up against Kennesaw? You say, shut up, Chuck. You've been saying this since 2007. You're wrong every year. Just shut up.
I mean, dude, we were talking, this is a top 10 team. Not like 3 weeks ago. This is a top 10 team. They look so far from a top 10 team. I was saying, 5 seed or under in the tournament. We're going to be scratching and clawing to get in the tournament if we can't figure something out. It's just sad. It's just sad. Now, like, the Bengals outlook might look better than UC's. And we need like a miracle. We have like a 12% chance to make the playoffs. It is the nice thing with college basketball is even, in years past, you can look at what happened in December and January, and all of a sudden a flip switches and things change. I'm praying to God that happens. I have not seen Wes be able to. Oh, the shot doctor. He's right. For those of you listening, Gray Bush Live said, I thought we hired the shot doctor. Is he a quack? He might be. He might be, because this team cannot shoot a lick. I mean, if you got rid of the Arkansas Pine Bluffs and Gramblings of the world, this team has to be shooting 15% from three. And they can't shoot a free throw either, which is kind of the first thing you go to as the quote-unquote shot doctor. It's a struggle. I think the first thing we need to do, Chuck, is maybe do some free throws in practice. Maybe just practice those, see if we can make them. And I mean specifically Dillon Mitchell and Aziz Bandaogo. Get to the free throw line. Get some shots up, for the love of God.
That's all they should be doing, is getting shots up. I mean, good God. We got Fanta on Twitter. John Fanta, everyone's favorite Bearcat hater. There has to be some cause for concern at Cincinnati right now. Bearcats are 0-2 in the Big 12, and it gets no easier. They're next to at Baylor on Tuesday before hosting Kansas next Saturday. Have to get one this upcoming week. Goodman right now, probably stiff as a board. Good God. And, I mean, we got the Bearcats basketball experience. It's over. We're so fucking back. It's so over. Fire the coach. I mean, it's just the graph there. Our friend Reds Daily, you cannot have this many athletes and score 26 points in a half. Cincinnati needs to fix their offense. They need to do it fast. Keyshawn Tillery was at the game. Sorry, Keyshawn. We're better than that.
Yeah, is he going to decommit?
We won't boo you. We won't boo you. And I don't want to see Wes Miller at the press conference and hear what he has to say, because he can't even. Last game, he couldn't even see straight. He may be blind. Honestly, it'd be a good bit if he put on the sunglasses and came out there and was like, I can't see everyone. It's that bad in Cincinnati right now. I can't see. I mean, this is just, I don't want to laugh, but I mean, my God, we got to find some comedic value or something, or else what are we doing?
I mean, is Wes doing the same song and dance in the presser right now? I'm pissed off. I'm seeing red right now. It's like, hey, we get it. Wes, I love you, but I'm so sick and tired of you saying you're pissed off. Win a game at home. What happened to home court advantage? Vegas is still loves us at home. I don't know why. I think.
Well, it's our first home loss of the year. Let's not bleed everything in from last year.
Oh, yeah, I will. I absolutely will. It's our first home loss of the year, and we played Xavier, which they look decent. Sure, I'll take that as a good win because it's our biggest rival. But when's the last time UC won a big game at home outside of Xavier? 2 weeks ago? Like, we had the roster last year.
It was Houston pre-COVID. It was the Zach Harvey game. That was the last big game they won at home. Since then, I mean, they lost to Memphis. They lost to Houston. They go to the American. They got lucky to beat TCU. Like, let's not forget that. We stormed the floor after beating TCU, and we shouldn't have won that game.
And Zach, we're bringing up Zach Harvey, who's like the backup shooting guard for the Taiwanese Purple Horses right now. Like, that's how bad this is right now. Like, you got to win games at home. Like, protect home court floor. We see how tough it is to win on the road. And Wes Miller has not been able to figure it out. I was texting you guys in the chat, like, I can't remember the last time we won a home game against a good team outside of the Xavier game. And thank God we won that because, I mean, the sky would be falling right now if we didn't. So
the sky is falling, Chicken Little. Are you kidding me? What are you watching out there? We got to go into Baylor. We're starting 0-3 in the Big 12. We're right outside Lenardi's.
And I'll say this. I've said all year that I think that we match up with Baylor probably the best of anyone in the Big 12. I said we were going to destroy them. Now I'm getting worried. And I still think that we are a much better team than Baylor. I actually think Arizona, all things, said and done, I think Arizona is going to be a very good team throughout the season. Caleb Love, hate him or love him, the guy's a good ball player in college basketball. And Arizona's got talent through and through. They got a lot of big guys. I saw Aziz had some trouble with some other big 7-footers out there. So I think Arizona is going to be just fine. I think this loss will not be a bad loss by any means. But at some point, you got to beat good teams, and Wes Miller hasn't been proven to do that yet. We got plenty of opportunities. Hopefully, we do it here against Baylor on Tuesday.
All right, am I missing anything? I feel like we've pretty much covered it all. It's time to get ready for the Bengals, and then to look ahead for the Cincinnati Bearcats. And that stretch ahead is a road game at Baylor on the 7th. That is, I'm doing the math in my head here, Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. And then it's the Kansas Jayhawks at home next Saturday. Oh, baby. 2 big-time games for the Cats. You lose both of those games, and your ability to pick up quad 1 wins, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Like, I don't know with the net rankings, a bunch of these teams, and I'm sure a lot of them fall into quad 1s when you go to certain teams like UCF on the road, whatever it may be. But your remaining home games that are quad 1, I mean, you can list them maybe 1 or 2 teams when it's all said and done.
Just kiss goodbye that nice little ranking next to our name.
Oh,
that's gone. That is if we would have won this game, I think we would have snuck into the top 25. And I know it means nothing, but it means something to us. I love seeing a little number next to my name or our name when we're watching the game on ESPN. That is gone. But the good news is we have an opportunity to bring that back. Beat Baylor, beat Kansas. Is that going to happen? I don't know. Will I bet money line both games? Yes. Okay, so
I bet -2.5 today.
Oh, I know you did. And I feel tough for you. I did as well, but I live bet it at 9.5. We did cover that, so that's the only silver lining of the game.
All right, I threw the chat on the link, and we got our first ever call-in. We're a call-in show, folks. We got Elijah Anderson popping in.
Hey,
all right, give it to me. Give it to me, Elijah.
Oh,
What's up, brother?
I've been at every home game this year, pretty much every home game last year. This was the worst first half I think I've ever been in live, except for maybe the Houston one with Landers Nolly when we were down like 20 in the first half. But we get down so bad some games, and then we always make a run late, have a start believing, and then can never finish it.
It's like every sports team in Cincinnati too. It's not just the Reds. Right. I feel like the Bengals kind of have that in their DNA. The Reds do it from time to time. I would love to ask Xavier fans if they feel the same way based on their game against Marquette this year. They probably do from time to time. I just don't get it, man. I don't get it, but I don't understand how a team is that flat in that big of a game to start the game. And granted, they were good to begin for the first like 4 or 5 minutes. But, I mean, come on, fellas. What are we doing?
It wasn't pretty. Elijah, or is it Elia?
Elia.
There's no J in that.
Yeah, no
Elia.
J, no J. Yep.
Chuck, figure it out. I thought you were a broadcaster. Elia. What are your thoughts? What's the fan base's thoughts on Wes Miller starting 0-2? I know everybody was loving Wes about 2 weeks ago, and it seems like things have switched. What are your thoughts on our guy Wes Miller?
Yeah, I'm as big of a Wes Miller fan as there is, but you got to sit back and be realistic. It's the same thing Buckeye fans are saying about Ryan Day. Like, he can bring in all the recruits he wants, but does he win the big games? Wes Miller doesn't win the big games. And, like, maybe if you get in a coach that can actually run a damn offense, if he's recruiting 3 and 4 stars, can get him to win, is that better than Wes Miller pulling an occasional 5-star? Like, probably. I don't know.
Well, if he's on the trajectory of Ryan Day, so we're going to go to a Final Four possibly this year.
Good point.
I think it's more Travis Steele is the name that I bring up because very likable guy. Xavier fans wanted him to succeed for so long. Good recruiter. The players all loved him. You didn't see mass exoduses of players after every single season. Was able to kind of retain that Najee Marshall and that Greg Scruggs, I think played for UC or Louisville, went to St. X, drummer. I know way too much about Greg Scruggs. Anyways, Paul Scruggs, the Xavier player in that team. That's kind of what I'd compare Wes Miller to right now if he can't really get his act together. But you didn't really answer the question, Elia. What's kind of the mood in the arena? Because we all know what's said on Twitter. You get the worst of the world in Twitter. You love Wes. I'm sure you have some friends that are sitting there.
Yeah, I don't think people want Wes fired. They more want the players to just figure it out. Everyone around me complaining about free throws, effort, and then we showed effort in the last 8 minutes. But, I mean, it was the most lackluster effort for the first 20 minutes I've seen probably all year.
All right, good stuff, Elia. Get home safe. All right, we got a call-in show, man. How about that?
That's fantastic. Chuck, I'll say this. Thank you, Elia, for calling in. That was great. This kind of feels like, because I think he hit the nail on the head, though, when he said nobody wants Wes to be fired. Everybody is rooting for the guy. He's the most likable guy possibly on earth. It almost feels like it's like you're watching your kid out there, and you've been saying he says all the right things. He's got a good head on his shoulders. You know, he works hard, and you're telling the coach he needs more PT, and then all of a sudden he gets in the game. And you watch probably 6 or 7 of them, and you go, holy shit, my kid stinks. He's not any good. Wait a minute. What? And everyone's like, God, we were rooting for this guy. And that's what it's starting to feel like, that we're all rooting for him. And you see the step forward, and then it's like 2 steps back. We saw it all throughout last season. Now he's officially got all of his guys, handpicked guys on this roster, which is why it concerns me to see this offensive output in particular. And again, there's a lot of ball to be played, but Wes Miller for me is, he's dancing on that line right now. And I'm going to say it. I've said it 50 times. I have faith in Wes Miller to figure this out, right the ship, but he's got to do it now. End of story.
And last year made us feel a little bit better about it because the way they finished the year, right? But when you go back to it, they didn't finish the year that great. Take away the little run they had in the NIT, and that would not have been possible if Simas Lukosius did not bury a 3. And I think USF may have been missing one of their best players too in that game. But you go back to the end of last year, and I mean, there was a 3-game losing streak in February. They lost to Oklahoma, a terrible loss to Oklahoma in overtime where they were up like 10 late in the second half and blew it. That was in March that they blew that game. Sure, they beat Kansas without Kansas's entire team. Before that Oklahoma game, they needed a CMOS Lukosius 3 to beat Kansas State. They lost at Houston the game before that. They rolled over against TCU in February. They lost at home to Oklahoma State in February. So, like, he's never really put together good stretches of basketball against the non-shitburgers. He hasn't. I mean, they still haven't won 2 games in a row in the Big 12.
When have you ever left a game and said Wes outcoached the opposing team? I don't think I've ever said that. Like, straight up. I don't remember the last time. There might be. I mean, what, you want to call out some game from last year? I can't recall a time where I was like, wow, we really outcoached the other team. And I feel like I see that every time. Like, Lloyd outcoached us. I think the guy stinks. I think he's a fraud. He outcoached us today. And you could say maybe he outcoached Sean Miller. Sure, maybe. I actually think Xavier outplayed us for majority of that basketball game. So that's where I'm concerned. And, I mean, we can beat a dead horse all day. He's got to figure it out. Hopefully he does. But at some point, you got to turn the corner or you got to turn the page on Wes Miller.
We got a text from our group that said, wow, he's angry.
Oh, yeah, he's pissed off. What do you know? It's cute when we lose some games, but when you lose all of them, Wes, it starts to piss me off. Okay.
Oh, my God. So the Bearcats missed 20 of 25 3-point shots, 19 of 39 2-point shots. They miss 11 of 23 free throws. That's where we are with this team right now. Still plenty of chances to get the wins they need to make the NCAA tournament. The sky is not 100% fallen, but they better go to Waco and win the basketball game, or I swear to God, those barbarians may be slipping through the gate. And that's the last thing you want. Those ushers at Fifth Third Arena are going to be holding back the bar. It's the last thing you want, man. You do not want this fan base to turn on a head coach in January. It matters.
No, it certainly does. And things got to change. Again, plenty of opportunities. We win at Baylor. Everything's good again. But there are cracks. You said the sky's not falling. There's cracks in the foundation of that sky right now. Okay? And we're putting some caulk in there. We're trying to make sure that thing stays where it's supposed to be. But we got to turn the season around because with the expectations coming into this year, we were talking top 10, dude. This team is nowhere close to that. This is a borderline NCAA tournament.
We don't know what this team is. We don't know what this team is. I mean, let's put it this way. They were down 19 to Arizona. They tied that thing up. Terrible teams like TCU just got waxed to Arizona. Like, terrible teams roll over in that game and they lose by 19. This is not a terrible team. However, what it is a physically gifted team that was able to beat the likes of Xavier and Dayton because they flat out out-athleted and out-talented these teams. That is due to Wes's recruiting, yes. But whether it's roster construction, whether it's the offensive scheme, I don't know what it is. They're not beating teams based off the fine lines of basketball, making free throws, protecting the basketball, getting timely rebounds, all the things that matter in this game. They're just not.
Absolutely not. And I can't believe they only finished with 11 turnovers. So I think they had about 7 in the first 10 minutes. Cleaned it up a little bit. That's why we got back into the game. But changes need to be made, whether it's scheme, whether it's rotation, whether it's guys that play the most minutes. Things need to be changed, and let's just hope they do that.
Oh, no! We suck again!
All right, give us a little Debo shot for the way out. Is he sitting back there?
Yeah, well.
Camera shy.
He's got
right.
beef sticks in front of him, so at least somebody's enjoying their Saturday, brother.
Hey, you enjoy your Saturday night. Do your best to enjoy it. Debo, how are you, buddy? Take them on a walk. Drink those Cincy Lights. I need like 40 of them down from you today. We need more NIL money. We need a shooter. Third team all MVC is not good enough. We need first team next year, Houdini. Good to see you on the microphone again. It's been a while, man. The show's over, Houdini. You can let your dog do whatever he wants.
He just ate like an entire stuffed animal, so we got to figure this out.
All right. See you, brother.